And his opponent in the bottom left. Give it up for our red Protoss, Skillous. Funnily enough, again, we are missing the team info.
Did you remember to set the players in lobby?
No, I did not.
Yeah, that'd do it. Okay, so Skillous, gonna open Gate Nexus Cyber. It looks like YoungYakov, actually a young player. How old is he now? He is born in 2004. Oh, he's not so young anymore. Oh my god, he's 18 now? Holy crap, I've been casting this kid since he was like 14. That's insane.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I don't think of him as an 18-year-old, you know?
Right. It's funny how it creeps up on you and you're like, oh shoot. Before you know it, Renegade Slipchip's gonna be in college at this rate.
I'm not too familiar with Slipchip. Is he...
He frequents a lot of any open cups from EPT to whatever, and you know, kid doesn't get a lot of notoriety. We're in pro scene here, but a young mid-masters pushing up 14, 15, well now 15-year-old on NA, but he plays in a lot of open cups. And
okay.
So he's somebody that's around quite a bit. And it's funny though, like as time goes on, you just look at players, and like you said, YoungYakov, I was drawing a blank too, but he's actually now young adult Yakov. Funnily enough, I like this forced Nat and Triangle third Renegade. I don't know about you, that's always a pest. I know I hear that from you as we cast EPT cups pretty frequently together. That is quite annoying.
God, yeah, you have to change your whole build order basically to be safe against the things the Protoss can throw at you, and we're gonna see that play out as Skillous has chosen to go Stargate this game.
Yeah.
You have to get queens out, right? You have to still get your drones out, and you have to have defensive links to defend against what could be a very powerful potential adept play. We're not going to see that here. We're going to see a stalker opening from YoungYakov, but the threat is always there, or excuse me, from Skillous, but the threat is always there, and you lose mining time because your drones have to travel extra far, depending on if you messed up your drone pool to the natural or not, which happens even at the Grand Master level sometimes. Like, you can get a delay on this second base and you lose a larva, and that's devastating. That offsets everything that early in the game. So always a powerful play from the Protoss to get the block off. Now that mess up where you lose the larva has happened less and less and less, to the point of almost non-existence, as you know, Protoss have just always gone for the hatch block every game, or at least, you know, 70% of games. So Zergs have gotten experience at it.
Well, I'd like to point something out to you, Renegade. The Adept Stalker Stargate follow-up, not to cut you off, this is something I think pretty crucial. I'm going to call it now. We're going to see 3 Oracles. This is going to be the hero build out of YoungYakov. I'm quite confident of it, or out of YoungYakov, out of Skillous. He's been playing this a lot earlier on, or something pretty much similar. Oh, is it though? I might be mistaken. He has that quick third though. Quick third, double gas follow-up. I think we're going to see a Twilight and a Robo. Yep. Or no, it's Twilight Forge. I think he's going to go right into Blink Stalkers with +1. Sorry to cut you off.
So, Blink Stalkers with +1 does sound a lot like Skillous. The Oracles go in for another dive. They will clean up 3 drones.
Yeah. This is certainly going to be... I know what you're saying with how the income was a little messed with before, but I don't know about you. I think YoungYakov's actually in a pretty decent position still. It's not horrible.
He's going Nidus Swarm. It's going to be a Ling Nidus.
Oh, more Nidus memes.
With this many Oracles in the air, I'd say it's about 40-40. You guys get the meme. but this succeeds. So these oracles can definitely burn down the Nidus. They can also choose to let the Nidus finish and burn down the Lings, or they can try to burn down the drone lines, which is the worst of all responses. And they're still continuing to try and burn down the drone lines. They don't have any idea what's happening. Oh no. Well, here comes the Ling Flood.
And with it,
the Nidus in the main.
I think we're going to see more Lings. It is
nothing to respond to the Nidus in the main, and 20 Lings are going to be flooding out of that bad boy very soon. The Lings get the wrap around the Nexus.
Oh, this is rough. Skillous is in a lot of trouble, Renegade. This looks like this could just be over very shortly. Warpgate just finishing, another Nidus finishing, +1 going to be denied here. That's an Artosis pylon, much like, you know, I was going to say much like the other streamer memer of late, you know, the 54 sale supply block. Do you think he can hold?
I think this is going to be a case of Skillous pulling his defenses to the natural, or at least it should be. Once the shield battery overcharge expires, I would expect YoungYakov to be able to start overrunning these stalkers if he continues committing. He is not committing all the way. He's trickling out drones at home, but he is still producing cleans and links to bring to the front. He's chewing through these gateways, and the first 2 shield batteries have pretty much run out of energy. One's regained some, but there's still 1 shield battery left. Shield battery overcharge is slightly over halfway done, but that's it for the shield battery energy, and these stalkers are going to start falling. Skillous needs to pull to the natural to defend, I think.
Yeah, the hard thing is there's a 4th base going down behind this, a 4th hatchery from our Zerg player. Yeah, this is looking pretty rough.
Something that made the defense look really good early on was just the amount of energy on the oracles, killing off the Lings en masse. But now that energy is quite depleted, you're seeing more and more and more Protoss units dying. 12 more Lings are about to come through the Nidus. Evo Chambers finishing at home for YoungYakov to get started on those upgrades. And again, this still could be a hold for Skillous.
Yeah, Skillous is about that.
If he holds the main, though, it's going to be like a miracle.
Yeah, he's honestly mounting about as good of a defense as you can. He has to keep this going. Blake's on the way. He was able to get +1 behind us, if you noticed. Very, very cool stuff. Oracle's going to go try to find some value on the other side of the map. Now, he needs to get some damage on the other side, as he did somehow miraculously hold Renegade. This is a little closer than it seemed, I think. I don't know about you. I don't think it's over. I'd like to see a cancel on that 3rd base, though, as much as he needs it. There's no holding that. There's no saving that. He cancels. Oh, my goodness.
So the stalkers come in. They clean up the Nidus.
Yeah. That is a full cleanup. And you know what? Still, you know what's odd about this game? The worker count is pretty even. Double expand from our Protoss player. Hold the phones, as Steadfast would say. This game is getting wild by the minute. It's getting stranger and stranger.
I think it's a miracle that Skillous was able to hold the main. YoungYakov fired into shield battery overcharged stalkers for a while, rather than, you know, working on the gateways, working at things that were out of range of the overcharged shield battery. A lot of time was spent there. The Oracles survived for a really long time. They were actually able to regen their energy like 2 or 3 times, and I think that really fed into Skillous's defense. The question is, can he keep momentum up? YoungYakov already back up to 73 army supply. Skillous has taken the double expand, but didn't actually commit any army supply to holding it, and you can't recall to a Nexus that's still building. These Lings are going to deal a lot of damage very quickly. Skillous still angling in on creep as the Lings get this round on this Nexus. I think this Nexus is totes dead. Yep, there's the cancel.
Cancel was forced. He did manage to secure his third, but needs to get back with units of any kind. Wouldn't hate to see some adepts. He has some zealots. Charge did finish. Okay, so charge loss not too bad, but the shield battery is going to have to be canceled, but the other with battery overcharge is going to go down. A lot of lings being cleaned up, and Renegade actually, truth be told, it was a temporary hold, but look at the ling run by into the natural. There's nothing in the wall. The floodgates have opened, Renegade, and the lings are going to pounce on everything.
So, there are some zealots in the main. They will definitely cause some casualties to the zerglings, but it's not enough to hold on. The zerglings in the natural right-clicked onto a pylon instead of right-clicking down these probes. I think that's kind of a mistake from YoungYakov, but he's engaging on like 5 fronts, so we can't fault him too much. Still lings in the main, still lings in the natural, and still this thrust coming at the 3rd and 4th bases. Looks like he's going to start to create a more united front. But here come the Chad Oracles that have been just keeping Skillous in this game throughout, trying to gun down some Ravagers. Unfortunately, Skillous knocked down to 36 workers, only 50 army supply to hold off the relentless swarm of YoungYakov. It feels like a campaign mission, Dave.
Yeah, seriously. But you know something? It's starting to look like the supply don't lie. And truthfully, I am not surprised if we see a GG shortly. 4th Nexus finishing. Archon's just now starting. Honestly, I don't think there's anything we could have done better there. It felt a little bit like a build order counter. Like, I think that was about as good as a hold as you could get, minus the 3rd base. That was like a little unlucky for our Protoss player. But look at this. We're going to see GG pretty soon. He's holding on for a thread. I don't know, Renegade.
I mean, that was actually a big misplay from YoungYakov, not taking down the overcharged shield battery right away, so the Nexus stayed alive longer than it should have, but it's still a win. He just has the crushing numbers, and YoungYakov takes game number 1.
Oh, absolutely. Very, very good stuff. All right, we have our next lobby. Spicy game number 1, Renegade. I don't know about you, but I was not expecting that. It's not beyond YoungYakov, but still. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's go to teams. What do I have to do for teams?
You set them as the player.
Okay.
And then it shows them in the game.
Shoot, and they're rushing it pretty quick. Skills. Okay, I got it this time. Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry for the lack of forewarning there. You know what I'm talking about? My message was covered. Rip. Thank you, Renegade. Oof. I'm glad we have the series we have. Like, seriously, like, we could have the higher, everybody's looking for Clem, etc., but catching the Bly, Milky Cow games, Skillous, YoungYakov, we got Geralt and Battlebee, all sorts of good games today.
In the top right, give it up for Skillous.
And his opponent in the bottom left, representing CSO Esports, it is YoungYakov, our blue Zergy Zerg.
So let's set the stage here, Dave. All right, Skillous, 14-0 in notable series versus YoungYakov. In Group C, Skillous is ranked 2. YoungYakov is as of now eliminated. Cyril dominated Group C, I believe, with a 7-0 record. Skillous wants to make sure Harstem or Euthermal or both do not pass him up in seeding by him losing and one of them winning. If I did my math correctly, which is entirely possible I didn't, but we do our best here. We do our best.
Oh, for sure. You know, hey, you're doing fantastic on bringing the numbers in. You know, meanwhile, here's Dave over here thinking we're playing Tetris. You know what I mean? We got a little bit of a probe scout going in, and you know.
Well, analogous to a T-spin in StarCraft.
True. That is very true.
What is? I would think, like, I don't know, kiting with a Banshee, maybe?
Kiting with a Banshee, or...
Like, pull and run away, and it spins around? I don't know.
I'm not sure either, but you know what I am sure of?
What?
This probe continuing to be annoying. Skillous being... I think he just wants to keep eyes on YoungYakov after that game. And he wants to try to be as much of a pest as he can after losing to that very aggressive play in game number 1.
So, Dave, tell me about what this mineral harass is supposed to do from the probe.
Well, it's supposed to, honestly, force our Protoss player to forget about what else he's doing. No, it's actually denying mining time if you can pull it off enough. So other than just taking the 5 minerals, you're ideally delaying a mineral patch from, you know, being mined at that time as well. Ooh, what is this adept doing? Yeah, this is going to be more of the same, a little bit more of the same, I think. We got the Stargate, we're going to have the Oracles. Looks like YoungYakov set up a lot more standards this game. I don't know about you, but I don't think we're going to see a Nidus just yet.
Stargate finishing for Skillous.
Yeah.
Oracle coming out again. How many do you think we see, Dave?
We're going to see 3 yet again. He could surprise us, but Skillous is really good, but also somewhat predictable, I feel like. I think he's going to try to go back into Old Faithful for the build, but that being said, I wouldn't hate to see him like follow up with something a little different. Nah, he's gonna go for more of the same. We're gonna see up. Look at, we're already seeing a fast third come out of Skillous Renegade. I think we're gonna see the hero build for real this game. But I don't know how much I always agree with some of it with like a ton of gateway units, right? You can certainly go that route, but I'd like to see that robo transition into disruptors, into colossi, as it scales, you know?
Yeah.
But I do believe that's what we're going to see. And let's see if we are correct on the Oracle count. I know, Renegade, are you hoping for the Foracle memes? Chad, are you hoping for the Oracle memes?
I'm very biased here. I want to see YoungYakov win his first notable series versus Skillous. That's what I want to see.
That would be quite the upset. That I gotta say, that wouldn't be too.
YoungYakov faces a Skillous who like makes only hallucinated Phoenix for the rest of the game, right? Like I believe in the dream of YoungYakov, Dave.
Yeah, YoungYakov getting memed on, and you know, Skillous starting to flex, building nothing but sentries for a while, you know, hoping for an Idro response. But I don't think we're going to see that, but I think it's quite likely. It is possible that YoungYakov does take a 2-0. We did make the predictions to ourselves this game, but I'm curious to see what we have up to come. Wow, that's funny. There was a kill on an extractor, it looked like. Was it? Yeah, that was a kill on the extractor with the 3 oracles, Renegade.
Yeah, YoungYakov is trying to cheese out a 4th base. He's going to take it at about 524, but it was supposed to go down even earlier, around 518, I believe. So, 4th base before a Roach Warren is a very bold play, but I think he just sees how much has been invested in oracles. He feels confident in making that play.
Oh, for sure. Do we have anything in defense of the 3rd? We have a shield battery, some stalkers warping in, of the Protoss, I meant. And I want to see if Skillous tries to posture for a fourth. It's going to be a little rougher, but part of this build is to just put a ton of pressure on with the Oracles, trying to keep the Zerg back at home, putting a little defense up, and taking fast expansions. Yeah, kind of like Haas Gateway Man, but with, you know, a little less cheeky gas pulls.
Yakov coming in again. These stalkers moved out of position. It looks like Yakov's going to target some static and then try to go for the probes, but just ends up bashing his head into some shield battery energy. The triple Oracle is going to go for the third.
Gets 4 workers, and all the Oracle is surviving, though there's some serious hull damage on them, Renegade.
But you know what, Dave? For the amount of damage they've gotten done, it's not enough to cancel out this ultra early 4th base. Now, when a Zerg gets an early hatch timing, okay, well, I guess 13 drones overall. I take it back, actually. This really added up over time. You see 3, you see 4 at a time. It's like,
yeah,
it's like microtransactions. Like, they just add up over time, and you don't realize how much money you spent. But yeah, no, these Oracles put in work. I take it.
Yeah, that's funny. Speaking of microtransactions, all those banks of them, did you see the corrosive bios kill that little group of lings? That was pretty funny. While the aggress is going on in the third. I'm sorry.
I cried.
You cried inside and outside.
Well, it would be just as sad if it were a disruptor hitting zealots, right? Like,
oh yeah, it's painful to watch.
Spells going awry are devastating.
For sure. Yeah, with that said, 4th base being established early still. Probably not as early as Skillous wanted from the style, but really, honestly, it's still pretty damn early. I think Skillous' build's going kind of uncontested there. He's been mounting some pretty good defenses as well, and those Oracles were paramount. He still has all 3, by the way.
Infestation pit starting for YoungYakov. Start moving into that 6-6 hive tech, or maybe even just infestors. I would really like to see a pathogen gland infestor
look
play.
At this! The Bane bust!
I don't think this is going to do terribly much. Yeah. It was the Bane bust in that the Bane run by busted. So Stalkers are going to hold on behind the mineral line. 6 probes die, but not much else for the Protoss.
Well, we do have a couple Zealots. I was going to say, yeah, you got to worry about Banes, but there's so many darn Lings. I wouldn't have hated a Zealot Warp in there. He's been committing so much to Lings that, like YoungYakov, that you need something other than Stalkers to fight him. If he gets surrounded, it can be rough, especially with the Biles. Oh, my dear lord. Archons, though. I don't know about you. I'm a fan of that. At least on the Protoss side. Do we have centrifugal hooks yet? Yeah, they did finish. Oh.
These Banelings are wasting their lives against the Stalkers. The Banelings have not been... Definitely not been the goats of this game. Lings try to get in on the mineral line. They're floundering for targets, and this was a whole nothing burger from YoungYakov. It did. He just kind of ran in there, like he ran into the Walmart, did a lap around the store while screaming, and then left. That's what that engagement was from YoungYakov. But Skillous was happy to take pot shots at it while he did so. Look at these Banelings. Why are the Banelings all failures in this game?
Well, it's because, honestly, Skillous' defense has been on freaking point. Will these Banelings connect? It's only 2. Nope, look at this. Skillous on top of it again. More Stalkers, the static in great spots, the pro pull. Realistically, I hate to say it, Renegade, but Skillous has just been right on top of this all along. I think it's actually just good defense. But I'm totally with you. It's very unfortunate for Mr. Yakov.
Oh my god. Every time I see a Baneling now, I cringe. Skillous' defense against them is just too good. I think YoungYakov needs to go into Lurkers or Infestors. He has the Infestation Pit. Yeah, it's not being utilized. The Hive's there.
Well,
Where's the Hive back? There's Adrenal Glands.
Oh, that's actually pretty nice. Yeah, I think YoungYakov should probably commit to what is working. And yeah, he's starting to get some Ling run buys, trying to get Ling run buys, trying to get some damage in that way. But unfortunately, our Protoss player is on +3 ground weapons momentarily. He's going to have an upgrade advantage for a bit. And that's a lot of Archons, Renegade.
Yeah, that's a solid amount of Archons.
With
they
the
will
+3.
kill everything that's here if given enough time. Skillous does need to run away and connect some bile, and he does. He actually removes the shield off one Archon, kills off a Stalker, but needs about 2 more waves of that.
Yeah, this is
and
pretty
instead
cool.
he's hitting his own Lings. Brutality.
Brutality. I don't know if we're going to see a flawless victory quite yet. Some of these biles, more and more, landed some damage, but Renegade, the supply is looking grimmer and grimmer for young Mr. Yakov. I don't think he can do it this game. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see that surprising upset. We're going into game number 3, and Skillous is victorious.
Okay, will YoungYakov be able to pull it off in the back half of this series? Back third, rather. But we're here to find out.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And we have our 3rd game.
Okay.
And I wonder if we have a few between. Let's see what this game number 3 brings us, Renegade.
Did you get the players in?
Oh. I have YoungYakov. Oh, shoot. Yep. Somebody said it for me.
Okay, good.
Was that you or the ref?
Probably the ref. It's set.
Good looking out, ref. Now, chat, ESL staff and everybody, I hope you're enjoying this. I gotta say, anything scuffed with this stream, it's 100% Dave. On the production
I
side.
thought you were
Renegade's
gonna say,
been fantastic.
I thought you were gonna say Chicken Man. Just
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. You know, definitely would not do that. I might blame it on the coffee or my cat Charlie, but that's about it. Anybody you want to do the honors, Renegade?
in the top right corner from CSO Esports, it's YoungYakov.
And his opponent in the lower left. Give it up for our red Protoss player, Mr. Skillous. Very cool stuff. You think we're going to see some cheese out of YoungYakov this game?
I think we might, Dave. I think we might. We're not. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh.
Okay,
nope.
no.
Yeah, he's just being safe. Just being safe so he doesn't have a cheeky early probe block. So this game, he's not forced to take his third Renegade. I do like it. Especially on Hardwire, by the way. It's got those awkward position bases a little bit, you know? For Zerg.
Yeah.
At least I always feel that way when I'm playing Zerg. I don't know about you.
Well...
Like a little bit. They're just kind of off. Heck, even as Protoss or Terran, just a little, like, distance, you know? The pathing.
I feel like the fourths are more awkward on this map than...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, true.
Entirely. I don't find this too hard to creep out. Yeah, you gotta go around the corner, but what map don't you have to do that on these days? And
yeah,
it's pretty defensible to my mind as the Zerg, especially against Protoss, where You only really need to defend against one avenue of attack anyway. They're unlikely to be multi-pronging, and you're more worried about prisms than anything.
Yeah.
So like if you have a third down on the cliff base, you're gonna see a lot of stuff that tries to fly into your main, right?
Oh, for sure.
You can push your overlords farther out, etc. So
yeah, that is definitely an advantage. Looks like we're gonna see another Stargate opener out of Mr. Skillous. We're gonna see more of the same again. Seems like throughout DreamHack, he's been kind of consistently playing this way. But yeah, he spikes it up a little bit in some of the games. But it's a strong build, truthfully. But we saw its weaknesses to the cheese in game number 1. After catching all the DreamHack games, Renegade, how likely is it that you're going to be switching back into even more Nidus play? And how much do you think Zerg players in general are as the Valencia qualifiers and into the regionals have been going on?
Me personally, 0%. I don't Nidus.
You're not a Nidus fan, okay?
Never been a Nidus fan, nah. Except during the era of Nidus, right?
Yeah.
When Nidus was super good. That's the only time I've done it, and then it was mostly ZVZ, so you can't really call Imba on that one. But I think this is one of those things that, well, it's kind of been specific to some of the players we've been casting, but also it's one of those things that just shifts in and out of the meta. It's not really, obviously it's not due to a patch, right?
Right.
Necessarily. Yes, the Void Ray was nerfed. Yes, Void Rays are very good at shutting down Nidus Worms, but there's a range of viable builds on any given patch, and they adapt and shift and
for sure
wind through one another as time goes on. So I think this is just another example of that.
For sure. I mean, honestly, at first I thought things like the German taxi might be a thing of the past totally, but I've been seeing a lot of games, say in EPT Cups or my own opens, and just anything where builds very similar to Lambo's German taxi, where, you know, we're gonna see creeper lords come with the dropper, the ventral sack overlords, basically doing the same thing, allowing an alternative to the Nidus, and a little surprise attack with like roach pushes, for example, you know? Ooh, Oracle barely makes it on the left side. You know something? I don't believe... Do we have a third Oracle? Yeah, we do. It's not with the group yet. It is the same build from YoungYakov again. And a pretty decent little maneuver from our Zerg player. He scouts the Oracles, forcing a rev tag, and, you know, YoungYakov just can't... Or it's rather, Skillous can't get any damage with those Oracles right there.
Oh man, Yakov has commanded these lings for so long. So many of them have died for free. There could have been dead probes, there could have been dead of death, or at least shield battery drained of energy. But they were move commanded, and that means this Nidus Worm is going to be weakened somewhat. So,
oh man, it's back again, Renegade.
I think this is still holdable from Skillous. The stakes are much higher now, but many of the links on the low ground, they have no way to get into that Nidus. There's a second worm.
I wouldn't hate to see a little bit of a probe pull to keep the battery alive, but the photon cannon behind us is good. This is looking holdable, but at the same time, it's a very dead-looking shield battery in the mineral line, Renegade.
Yeah, for sure it is. I think we're going to see Yakov continue to push forward, but Skillous has shown us he has the ability to hold the main. What we're seeing differently is that that's not the primary target of Yakov. He shut down 4 warp gates, and the robotics facility in the natural.
Yeah, he's going for the
2 of those warp gates repowered, but this is a big blow to Skillous. He was totally focused on defending the main and just neglected the natural.
Oh, absolutely. Renegade, another thing to point out, Robo going down. Blink still on the way, +1 going to finish like the first game. But yeah, losing that production's rough, but there's a Baneling nest behind it this time. I know Banes weren't doing so great last time. There is a lot of static, but that could be a game changer here this game.
Yeah, so what those Banelings can do is maybe get in on the shield battery cluster, maybe snipe pylons, maybe get into the mineral line, right? You get a couple Banelings in there and they detonate. You can't heal an instantly dead unit with a shield battery. It will do absolutely nothing, and I think that's exactly what we're gonna see.
Goodness.
Down goes the mineral line, and they make up. It's the Virgin. It's like, oh yeah, no, it's like the wimpy game 2 Banelings versus the absolutely powerful Chad game 3 Banelings. They
oh my goodness,
killed 42 probes. And the natural is gonna die here momentarily. So Skillous is in a lot of trouble. These are big stakes. YoungYakov maybe about to pull off an upset. Even if Skillous stabilizes here, he's down 14 workers, Dave.
Yeah, that's insane. In total, 44 probes killed. And let's just see what was killed. A robotics facility, a cybernetics core, a nexus, 6 warp gates. Just insane damage. And in fact, I believe this is emotional damage for our Protoss player. For lack of better
Emotional
words.
damage. Yep, there we
Emotional
go.
damage right here, right now. It's looking pretty over, folks. Potentially one of the bigger upsets of the day. We'll see. As the Valencia regionals continue on, this is 100% Kirktown in favor of YoungYakov. There is no coming back from this.
Ugh, the Zealots taken out one by one. The Stalker Sentry is coming in, but 7 more probes have fallen. That is about a quarter of Skillous's economy, and there's just so many queens.
Yeah, it's insane.
16 queens. What?
Yeah, I mean, just how everything was, there's nothing to deal with that really. Like, these are upgraded stalkers, right? +2 is about to finish. He's like, all that matters, but so is the game. We're going back to camp.